If you're watching this video, there's a strong chance you've spent much of your life feeling misunderstood. You may have grown up hearing you were smart but unmotivated, full of potential, or not applying yourself. You may have been praised for moments of brilliance and criticized for inconsistency. You may have struggled in school. Over time, these mixed messages create confusion. You begin to wonder why you can perform extremely well in some situations and struggle deeply in others. You may start questioning your character, your discipline, or your worth. ADHD is one of the most misunderstood neurological conditions. It's often reduced to stereotypes about hyperactive children or people who can't pay attention. In reality, ADHD affects how the brain regulates attention, emotion, memory, and motivation. Most people only see outcomes. They see missed deadlines, they see forgotten appointments, they see unfinished projects. They don't see the internal effort required to function every day with a brain that struggles against you and struggles with any sort of regulation. This video exists to replace shame with understanding. It exists to help you understand that your struggles have a biological basis. They're not evidence of laziness or failure. When people understand the reasons behind their challenges, they can stop fighting themselves and start supporting themselves. That's the purpose of this series. ADHD is classified as a neurodevelopmental condition. This means that it affects how the brain grows, organizes itself, and functions from early childhood onward. Brain imaging studies consistently show differences in areas related to executive function, emotional regulation, and reward processing. These differences are not defects, they're variations in development. Executive functions include planning, organization, starting tasks, sustaining attention, regulating impulses, managing emotions, and holding information in working memory. In ADHD, these systems are less consistent and efficient. They work well in certain conditions, such as high intensity or urgency, but they struggle under low stimulation or high ambiguity. ADHD also involves differences in dopamine and norepinephrine signaling. These chemicals influence motivation, alertness, and reward perception. When these systems are less regulated, motivation becomes unreliable. This explains why people with ADHD can focus intensely on things they enjoy, like hyperfocus, but struggle with boring tasks. It's not a character issue, it's a neurological pattern. Understanding ADHD as a brain-based issue allows people to understand and stop moralizing their struggles. It reframes difficulty as a signal for support, not punishment. It's equally important to understand what ADHD is not. It's not laziness. Lazy people are indifferent. Most people with ADHD care deeply and feel distressed and stressed about underperforming. ADHD is not low intelligence. Many individuals with ADHD have high intellectual ability, high IQ, and they often excel in creativity, problem solving, and innovation. ADHD is not poor character. It does not reflect weak morals or lack of responsibility. ADHD is not simply a motivation problem. If motivation were the issue, people could fix it through effort, but ADHD persists even when people try extremely hard. Many individuals with ADHD expend more energy than their peers just to meet basic expectations. They're often exhausted by this invisible effort. Removing moral judgment from ADHD is critical. Shame does not improve brain function. Understanding does. ADHD affects many aspects of daily life. Task initiation is one of the most common struggles. People may know exactly what needs to be done and still feel completely unable to get started. Overwhelm occurs when working memory becomes overloaded. Too many thoughts compete for attention at once. Time blindness makes it difficult to estimate durations. People may underestimate or overestimate how long tasks take or lose track of time entirely. Emotional intensity is also common. Feelings may arise quickly and feel completely overwhelming. Forgetfulness is often the result from limited working memory rather than lack of care. These patterns are all neurological. They reflect how information is processed and regulated. Once people recognize these patterns, they can design systems that compensate for them. Willpower-based advice is absolutely pointless and ineffective for anyone with ADHD. Most productivity advice assumes stable motivation. ADHD brains don't have stable access to motivation. Motivation depends heavily on dopamine signaling. When dopamine is low, effort feels extremely difficult. Telling someone with ADHD to try harder is like telling someone with poor eyesight to see better. What works best is structure, external reminders, clear routines, simplified systems, and reduced decision making. These supports replace unreliable internal regulation. Success improves when environments are supportive, not when people punish themselves. A healthy approach to ADHD focuses on support and design. Instead of relying on memory, use external tools. Instead of relying on motivation, use routines. Instead of relying on discipline, reduce friction. These include visual reminders, timers, checklists, structured environments. Also, self-compassion is extremely essential. Shame triggers a threat response in the brain. Threat reduces executive function, which often leads to shutdown and avoidance. Supportive environments allow learning and growth. Progress happens when people feel safe to experiment and adjust. Identity plays a major role in ADHD management. Many people internalize years of criticism and pain. They begin to see themselves as defective. This belief becomes a barrier and a wall to growth. ADHD brains are different, not deficient. They often show strength in creativity, empathy, pattern recognition, and crisis management. With proper support, these strengths can flourish. Your challenges do not erase your value. You are not behind. You are just navigating a different operating system. Okay, so practical next steps. Begin by observing your own patterns. Notice when focus is strong. Notice when it drops. Remember to be patient with yourself. Build small, simple steps. Avoid radical overhauls. Overhauls often cause overwhelm and shutdown. Practice patience. Change is gradual. Take it one small step at a time. Seek community and education whenever possible. If this content helps you, continue learning. You deserve understanding, tools, and respect. Until next time.